For years, calcium has been presented as the single, unquestioned solution for strong bones and powerful legs. It's been marketed as the magic mineral, the one-stop fix for brittleness, weakness, and instability. But the truth is far more complex and far more empowering than the simple message we've been sold. Calcium plays an important role, yes, but it's only one piece of a much larger system. Without the nutrients that help your body activate and direct calcium, simply adding more to your diet can feel like trying to build a house with bricks but no blueprint. You can stack all the materials you want, but without the right instructions, the structure will never become what it's meant to be. This misconception causes many people to lean heavily on calcium supplements, while ignoring the cofactors their bodies desperately need to actually make use of that mineral. Calcium doesn't strengthen your legs on its own. It requires the right biological environment, the right hormonal signals, and the right nutritional partners. When those aren't present, calcium often remains underutilized, floating around the body without reaching the bones and muscles that need it most. In some cases, this imbalance may even leave people feeling frustrated, wondering why their legs still feel weak, tired, or unstable despite doing what they believed was the right thing. What's even more surprising is how many people assume that if their legs feel heavy, shaky, or fatigued, the answer must be more calcium. They increase their intake of dairy, swallow an extra tablet, or double down on fortified cereals hoping to see rapid improvement. But strength doesn't come from excess. It comes from effectiveness. Your body doesn't benefit from more of a substance it can't properly use. It benefits from synergy, balance, and smart nutritional support. This is where the story of calcium becomes a turning point rather than a solution. Leg strength isn't just about bone density. It's about how your muscles contract, how your nerves fire, how your blood circulates, and how minerals are placed, stored, and activated. Calcium plays only a supporting role in this broader performance. Without the right partners, especially the vitamins that unlock its potential, calcium remains a silent participant rather than a powerful contributor. Many people don't realize that calcium must be guided, activated, and coordinated by other nutrients in order to make a meaningful difference. When these supporting vitamins are missing, calcium can't integrate effectively into bone tissue. Muscles may lack the precise signaling they rely on, joints may not feel as stable, and the legs simply don't receive the full benefit of the mineral we've been told to trust so completely. This imbalance leaves a gap between expectation and reality, a gap that leads to confusion and sometimes even discouragement. The good news is that once we break free from the outdated idea that calcium alone determines leg strength, we open the door to a far more holistic, effective, and empowering path. By understanding that calcium is only one part of a larger wellness equation, we gain the clarity to make smarter choices. Choices that support not just bones, but mobility, energy, balance, and overall vitality, and it all begins with recognizing that strength comes not from more of one thing, but from giving your body the complete nourishment it needs to thrive. Vitamin D is often talked about in passing, like a nutrient we know we should probably get more of. But few people fully understand just how central it is to the strength and stability of the legs. It isn't just a vitamin, it's more like the master switch that determines how well your body can absorb, process, and utilize the nutrients you fuel it with. When this switch is turned off, or even dimmed, your bones don't mineralize effectively, your muscles don't contract with full power, and your balance and coordination may not feel as steady as they could be. That's how fundamental this nutrient is. It influences almost every step your lower body takes, literally. What makes vitamin D so crucial is its role as a kind of biological activator. Your body depends on it to regulate calcium absorption from your digestive system, and without adequate levels, much of the calcium you consume never becomes available to your bones and muscles at all. It simply passes through the body with very little impact. That means even if you're eating well, taking supplements, or doing everything you believe to be right, your legs may not receive the benefits you expect if vitamin D isn't there to open the door. It's the difference between having nutrients in your system and actually being able to use them, but the story doesn't end with calcium activation. Vitamin D also influences muscle performance on a deeper level. Muscles rely on precise electrical signaling that allows them to contract, relax, and stabilize the body during movement. When vitamin D levels are low, these signals may become less efficient, causing muscles to fatigue more easily or feel weaker during daily activities. This can contribute to that familiar sensation of legs feeling heavy, wobbly, or less responsive than they once were. It doesn't mean the muscles are failing, it means they're undernourished and undersupported. Another remarkable aspect of vitamin D is the way it affects balance and coordination. Many people don't realize that this nutrient interacts with the nervous system, influencing reaction time, neuromuscular control, and overall stability. When these systems are well supported, the legs respond with greater confidence and precision. Movements feel smoother, transitions feel easier, and tasks like climbing stairs or standing from a chair feel more natural and grounded. It's not magic, it's biology functioning the way it was designed to when given the right tools. Yet despite its importance, vitamin D deficiency is incredibly common. Modern lifestyles keep people indoors, behind windows that block UV light, the very form of sunlight the body needs to produce vitamin D naturally. Even in sunny regions, people often cover up, wear sunscreen, or simply don't spend enough time outside for the skin to generate meaningful levels. Add to that the fact that only a handful of foods naturally contain vitamin D, and it becomes clear why so many individuals unknowingly fall short. The encouraging part is that supporting healthier vitamin D levels doesn't require drastic changes. Small, consistent steps, sensibly spending time outdoors, incorporating foods like fatty fish or egg yolks, or discussing supplementation with a healthcare provider, can help create an environment where your body can begin to restore its natural strength. And once this nutrient is back in balance, the legs often respond with renewed energy, better performance, and a sense of stability that feels deeply grounding. Because when you give your body the activation key it has been missing, everything from your bones to your muscles to your confidence begins to rise. Vitamin K2 is one of those nutrients that rarely gets the spotlight, yet it quietly performs some of the most important work in the entire body, especially when it comes to supporting leg strength, movement, and long-term structural wellness. Most people have heard of vitamin K in general, but very few understand the difference between K1 and K2, and even fewer recognize how essential K2 is for directing minerals to the right places. If vitamin D is the key that helps your body absorb calcium, then vitamin K2 is the navigator that decides where that calcium actually goes. Without it, the mineral you're counting on for strong legs may never reach your bones in the way you intend. The beauty of vitamin K2 lies in its precision. It works almost like a traffic director, guiding calcium into the skeletal system, and particularly into the long bones and supportive structures of the legs, while helping keep it away from areas where it shouldn't accumulate. When K2 is present in sufficient amounts, it activates specific proteins responsible for binding calcium and directing it into bone tissue. This means the calcium you consume is far more likely to work for you rather than simply circulate without purpose. When K2 is lacking, however, the body's ability to properly place minerals becomes less efficient, and that's where issues with bone density and leg stability can begin to appear over time. Many people assume that if they're getting enough calcium, their bones will naturally become stronger. But without vitamin K2, that calcium may not integrate effectively into the skeletal matrix. This can leave the legs feeling less supported, the bones less nourished, and the muscles more vulnerable to strain. It's not that the body is failing, It's simply missing the guidance system it relies on to make use of the minerals it receives. And the more we understand this, the more empowered we become to nourish the body in a way that truly supports strength from the inside out. Another important thing to recognize about K2 is how scarce it can be in modern diets. Traditionally, foods rich in K2, like fermented vegetables, certain cheeses, grass-fed products, and especially natto, were more common in everyday meals. But with the rise of processed foods and the decline of traditional fermentation practices, many people go through life without regularly consuming the very nutrient that ensures their bones and muscles function optimally. It's not intentional, it's simply a byproduct of changing food habits. But this shift leaves a noticeable gap in support for leg strength and mobility, one that many people don't even realize exists. The moment you begin giving your body more K2, something subtle but meaningful starts to happen. The mineral pathways operate more smoothly. Calcium you've been relying on actually begins to integrate where it's needed. Your skeletal structure feels better supported from the foundation up. And over time, this improved nourishment contributes to steadier steps, greater confidence, and a sense that your legs are working with you rather than against you. The body responds to proper direction and proper balance. It always has, and it always will. Because when you finally give your body the guidance system it's been missing, everything from stability to strength begins to fall back into place. When you look at vitamin D and vitamin K2 individually, each one plays an impressive role in how the body absorbs, activates, and directs key minerals for bone and muscle health. But the real transformation happens when these two nutrients work together. Their synergy is one of the most overlooked yet powerful combinations in the entire wellness world, especially when it comes to supporting the strength, stability, and performance of your legs. It's not just about taking them, it's about understanding how deeply they rely on one another to create an environment where your lower body can function at its absolute best. Vitamin D helps your body absorb calcium and influences muscle contraction, nervous system function, and overall balance. But without vitamin K2 in the picture, that calcium doesn't always reach the bones or get incorporated into the areas that support stability. It's like having a full tank of fuel but no clear route to your destination. K2 steps in as the co-pilot, taking the nourishment that D unlocks and guiding it into the places where it contributes most to long-term strength. The leg bones, the joints, and the supportive structures within the lower body all rely on this coordinated effort to stay strong, responsive, and resilient. What makes this partnership so remarkable is how naturally the body responds to it once both nutrients are present in healthy amounts. When vitamin D increases the availability of calcium and supports muscle efficiency, and vitamin K2 helps ensure that the calcium is placed directly into bone tissue, you're giving your legs the building blocks they need in a way that mirrors the body's own design. Instead of working against your biology or only focusing on one nutrient, you're engaging in a collaborative system that supports strength from multiple angles. This synergy also influences the smaller, often unnoticed processes that impact how your legs feel during daily movement. From the smoothness of each step to the steadiness of your balance, the coordination between vitamin D and K2 helps maintain the signals your muscles and bones rely on. When those signals are supported, you might notice that your legs feel more grounded or that fatigue doesn't set in as quickly. You're not getting a quick fix. You're giving your body the tools it needs to perform naturally and consistently. What's surprising to many people is how often these vitamins are missing together. Low vitamin D goes hand in hand with low vitamin K2 in many modern diets, which means even when someone tries to improve their bone health, the results may not fully show up without addressing both. That's why some people take supplements or adjust their diet and still feel like something is missing. They're activating the system with vitamin D but not directing it with K2. The partnership between these two nutrients is what brings the entire process into alignment. And once that alignment begins, it sets the foundation for stronger steps, better stability, and a renewed sense of mobility that supports every part of your daily life. Because when you give your body the partnership it's been waiting for, it finally has the chance to show you just how strong it can become. One of the most eye-opening realities about modern wellness is just how common deficiencies in vitamin D and vitamin K2 have become. Not because people are careless with their health, but because the world we live in has quietly shifted our habits, our diets, and even our daily environments in ways that leave these nutrients missing when our bodies need them most. And what makes this even more surprising is how many people experience signs of low leg strength, heavy legs, reduced stability, slower recovery, or lingering fatigue without ever realizing that something as simple as nutrient imbalance may be playing a role behind the scenes. For vitamin D, the deficiency often begins with something as simple as spending most of our time indoors. Workplaces, schools, screens, and the fast pace of life keep people inside more than ever before. Even when we step outside, sunscreen, clothing, or shade can block the UVB rays needed for natural vitamin D production. Many don't realize that glass windows, car windshields, and indoor lighting do nothing to support this process. And because only a handful of foods naturally contain vitamin D, relying on diet alone makes it nearly impossible to maintain optimal levels. The result is that millions of people, even in sunny climates, walk around every day with a deficiency they've never even considered. Vitamin K2 presents its own challenges. It's not just that we don't get enough, it's that most people don't know where it comes from in the first place. K2 isn't found in the typical foods people depend on today. It lives in traditionally fermented foods, certain cheeses, grass-fed dairy, and unique items like natto. But modern eating patterns have drifted away from these nutrient-dense options. Convenience foods, fast meals, and heavily processed ingredients dominate the average plate, leaving very little room for the natural sources of K2 our grandparents regularly consumed without even thinking about it. As food culture shifted, this quiet but essential nutrient simply fell out of the spotlight and out of the diet. This hidden deficiency, shared by so many without their awareness, has a ripple effect throughout the body. When vitamin D is low, the muscles don't fire as efficiently and the bones don't receive the support they need. When K2 is missing, the minerals that should reinforce skeletal strength remain poorly directed. Together, these gaps create an environment where the legs don't feel as strong, stable, or energized as they otherwise could. And because these changes tend to happen gradually, many people attribute them to aging, stress, or overexertion, never realizing that something deeper may be contributing. What makes this especially important is that deficiencies rarely present themselves with dramatic, obvious symptoms. Instead, they whisper. You might feel a little slower getting up in the morning. Your legs might feel tired sooner during a walk. You may notice small shifts in balance, coordination, or stamina. Because the changes are subtle, people often learn to live with them, believing this is just how things are supposed to feel. But the truth is, many of those feelings are not signs of aging, they're signs of unmet nutritional needs. The encouraging part is that awareness is the first step toward turning this around. When you understand how common these deficiencies are and how deeply they can affect strength and mobility, you gain the power to make informed choices that support your body's natural resilience. Because once you bring these nutrients back into balance, your legs finally have the foundation they've been waiting for to feel strong, steady, and fully alive. When it comes to restoring strength and vitality to your legs, the most powerful changes are often the ones that feel the simplest. You don't need complicated routines or extreme lifestyle overhauls. You need consistent, intentional habits that support your body from the inside out. And when you understand how essential nutrients like vitamin D and vitamin in K2 influence leg strength, mobility, balance, and overall wellness. The path forward becomes remarkably clear. Small actions done daily can create momentum that your body responds to almost immediately, not in the sense of overnight miracles, but in the sense that your system finally starts receiving what it has been missing for far too long. One of the easiest places to start is with sunlight. Allowing yourself a few mindful minutes outdoors can make a meaningful difference in how your body supports vitamin D levels. You don't need to spend hours in the sun. Even brief exposure, depending on your location and skin type, can help your body activate its natural vitamin D production. Think of it as a gentle signal to your biology, a way of telling your system, here's the energy you've been waiting for. When practiced consistently, this small daily ritual becomes a natural foundation for improving nutrient balance and supporting the strength that begins in the legs and extends throughout the entire body. Another practical step lies in your food choices. Incorporating vitamin-rich ingredients into your meals doesn't require a dietary overhaul. Adding foods like egg yolks, fatty fish, or mushrooms can contribute to vitamin D intake, while options like fermented vegetables, grass-fed dairy, or certain cheeses can introduce more vitamin K2. These are simple additions, not restrictions, small upgrades that support a bigger goal. And because these foods are generally easy to include in everyday meals, they create a seamless way to nourish the body without forcing dramatic lifestyle changes. Movement also plays a central role in restoring leg strength, and it doesn't need to be intense to be effective. Something as simple as gentle stretching, a light walk, or a few minutes of controlled breathing with mindful leg engagement can help improve circulation, flexibility, and muscle activation. This kind of intentional movement reminds the body of its natural capacity for strength. Over time, these small efforts begin to compound, making the legs feel more responsive, more stable, and more connected to the rest of the body. It's less about pushing yourself and more about awakening the systems that may have gone quiet due to inactivity or undernourishment. Just as important is the idea of checking in with a healthcare professional if supplementation becomes part of your routine. Every body is unique, and working with a qualified guide ensures you're supporting yourself safely and effectively. This isn't about taking more, it's about taking what aligns with your individual needs. When done thoughtfully, supplementation becomes a powerful tool that fills in nutritional gaps and supports the natural processes that keep your legs strong. The beauty of these steps is that none of them work in isolation. When you combine sunlight, nutrient, dense foods, gentle movement, and informed supplementation, you create a harmonious environment where your body can begin to restore balance and strength. You're no longer hoping for change, you're actively participating in it. And as your body receives clearer signals, better nourishment, and consistent support, it begins responding with the strength and stability that have been waiting beneath the surface all along. Because the moment you choose to take even one small step in the right direction, your body finally gets the chance to step forward with you.